I would say that I am a pretty chronically stressed person. I like to plan ahead and I get really overwhelmed when I don't know what the future looks like. I don't recommend this and it's something I'm working on, but a certain level of stress is one I know how to cope with, which is why this last year was so intense and scary for me. The majority of the last 10 months of my life have held pretty intense, constant, heavy anxiety. Anxiety for me usually feels like this deep, pervasive sense that something is wrong here. Sometimes it's irrational, but more and more it was really starting to feel like something was actually just off. And at this point in my life, it was really easy to point to things around me to blame. We had just moved across the country, we were missing our friends, dealing with career changes and life stress and just constantly having to make decisions about what's next. But as much as I rationalized and strategized, the feeling didn't go away. And then this summer, over the course of a few weeks, it was like the whole world came into focus. I could see myself burned out, miserable, and clinging to pieces of my life that were not making it better. I was chasing goals that I didn't really want, and I started to ask myself what would happen if I stopped. This honestly scared the crap out of me because as soon as I started kind of going down the rabbit hole, I had to admit to myself that a lot of the things I once thought I wanted more than anything else, I no longer cared about. Instead of dreaming of a full schedule and a busy career life, I was finding fulfillment in the slowest and simplest moments of my life. Sitting around kitchen tables with good people, baking bread for my friends and family, taking care of our house, writing and journaling, and just pouring my heart out in ways that weren't public. I've really valued the idea of an intentional life for a few years, but the idea of minimalism or really ultra slow living were things I really liked the idea of more than I actually wanted to put into practice. I always felt like I was too sentimental. I really liked having a very full kind of life and house and calendar. I love shopping and productivity, and I just couldn't see a realistic application of these things in my own life. I thought the things I was chasing would make me happy, but realizing that I was close to having some of them and utterly miserable was a wake-up call I will forever be grateful for. I started asking if the things I was investing my time and self into were worth it. I actually went through a weekly vlog that I had filmed and I wrote down everything I did in the 7-day period based on how much of my time I had dedicated to that area, and I realized that the vast majority of my week was going towards things that felt heavy and stressful. I was spending far less time investing in my marriage, my closest friendships, and the things that actually restored my soul. I viewed those things as rewards for getting the hard stuff done, rather than prioritizing them. But because I never treated them like a top priority, they didn't always happen, which further contributed to feeling burned out and exhausted. It was at this point that I started to ask myself the question that changed everything. Is this adding more value to my life than it's taking away? As I started to go through my home, my priorities, and how I was spending my time, my answer, more often than not, was no. I'm in a fortunate position where, honestly, just due to timing, I was able to step back from a lot of responsibilities and busyness to really reflect on this. And I took this opportunity to kind of remove everything that I possibly could from my life to kind of a self-imposed sabbatical and really just see what I actually started to miss. It's been a lot less than I would have thought. There are a lot of habits, routines, and goals that I've been so invested in and committed to without really questioning it. It's not that all of them or even any of them are bad, but a lot of them have been taking up space in my life that should be going to other things. More than anything, I've felt distracted and unable to be present. At the peak of my stress this summer, I was finding myself often asking my husband to repeat himself because I was zoning out or scrolling on my phone without even thinking about it. I've been exploring what minimalism really means and what this could look like in my life, as well as just slow, simple living in the modern age and in my 20s. I'm only a few weeks into this particular chapter of my life, but it feels really good. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I've been taking this time to just learn and listen to others and myself without feeling any pressure to create, and I think my soul really needed that. While social media isn't the cause of my burnout, I have come to recognize some unhealthy boundaries I have with it. I think I've developed a habit of using technology as a distraction when I'm feeling stressed or upset, and it kind of keeps me feeling just satisfied enough that I never actually address the root problem, and that's not super healthy. So while I am very excited to come back and continue making videos for you, I'm taking October to do a digital detox. 30 days with no social media, no TV in the bedroom, my phone strictly on black and white, and a few other guidelines I'm setting for myself. This was inspired by the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, which I highly recommend. And I actually wanted to share this video a couple days early in case any of you wanted to join me on this digital detox. I'm going to be using this time to not only reflect on my relationship to technology, but also to find higher quality hobbies and sources of relaxation. I'm going to bake and read and walk and spend time being present with my people. I'm also in the process of decluttering, and I'm really excited to get our home to a more manageable, minimized state. If you do want to join this little digital detox, I highly recommend making a list of rules for yourself and just creating very clear, specific details on what you're allowed to do and in what context. This is broken down a lot more in the book. If you've ever tried anything like this before, definitely leave a comment. Let me know how your experience was, what you learned. I would love to hear about it. I feel really settled in myself and at peace, and that's kind of new for me. I'm also gonna link some of the creators whose content I've been watching a lot of during this time, just been really inspiring and educational for me. Thank you all so much for being patient with me over this last month as I just kind of stepped back, and thank you in advance for bearing with me through October. I really love YouTube and you all, and I'm incredibly grateful for the community and relationships we have, and I just can't wait to keep sharing with you. I hope you have a good day, because today is a good day to have a good day, and that's it. I will see you in November.